Hey everyone, today I'm just going to talk about some random subjects, but I'm going to start by talking about Cole and Chip. They had to be groomed. We needed to cut them, and that was the hardest thing I ever had to do because I love how fluffy they are, and I know sometimes they look a little matted, but I brush them every single day. I sit on the floor with them and I just brush them. But in Iowa, it's so hot, it gets in the 90 degrees, and even walking them later in the evening, it's just too hot for them. So we decided to go ahead and get them buzzed. And I know they look really different, but again, we have to do what's best for our dogs, right? So anyways, while we're at the groomers, I got some footage, and as you can see,
So
they're being awfully
busy?
good. Cole's up there right now, you can see, and he's just like, what's happening to me? Chip is walking around because he's already done, and he keeps looking up at his brother to see what's going to happen to his brother, kind of looking out for him, and vice versa. But they were really, really good at the groomers. And once they were done, they got to go for a walk, and you could see such a difference in them. They were so much happier. They weren't huffing and puffing as much. So even though they might not look as adorable as they do when they have all their fur, I will say they're happier and healthier, and we needed to do this. So remember that when it's time for you to get your puppy groomed. We got to do what's best for the puppy, not what's best for their cuteness. Anyways, enough said about that. Another thing I want to talk about is the fact that I'm a teacher. So I've been teaching for over 30 years. I'm actually a high school math teacher. And I recently started a page to help parents and teens connect. Because throughout all my years of teaching, I've met a lot of parents and a lot of students, and I've learned a lot from them. Even working at the maximum security prison, I learned a lot from my students there. And we'll talk about that another day. But the one thing I'm seeing is the connection that is missing with parents and teens. And I've listened, like I said, I've listened to parents, I've listened to teens. I had 3 teens of my own, and I'll tell you, I had to learn a lot. Coming from a small town where everybody knows all your business, when I started to have kids, it always bothered me that, what are the neighbors thinking, or, what is somebody else going to think about my kid if this or that.
That's okay.
And I let that take over a lot. And I had to learn that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. What matters is what I think and what my teens think. That's what was important. And my kids did quite well in school. All 3 of my kids are in college now and doing well. And not that everybody has to go to college, because college isn't for everybody. We actually had our kids on Sundays research different career opportunities. I didn't care what it was. I just wanted them to see that what was out there. We never pressured our kids to go to college. And I didn't want my kids to feel, oh, you got to be a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer, whatever. But in reality, now I've got a son going to school to be a doctor. I've got a daughter going to school to be an attorney, and the other one's studying psychology. But I didn't push that on them. I wanted them to do what makes them happy. So I made sure they knew all about all the different careers that are out there. But back on the other note, I want to help parents help themselves and their teens. And I think the first part of building a connection with your child is taking care of yourself. Your problems shouldn't be your child's problems, but you can work on doing better and fixing your problems, and you're going to see such a huge improvement with your kids. So that's just some of the stuff I'm working on. Back to Cole and Chip, who are ready to go to bed. Chip is looking out the window for the bunnies again. He's always trying to make friends with the bunnies. And Cole, I think he's had a long day and he's just chillaxing. Have a good night, you guys.
How about you?